John Hewett with Susquehanna Group Advisors. I have Peter Edelman with Stevens & Lee, Bond Counsel. Brian Bradley with RBC Capital Markets, your bond underwriter. Here today to discuss a bond refunding opportunity and a parameters ordinance authorizing the issuance of refunding bonds in 2015. Just to give you a quick overview, you're already aware that the county currently has 3 outstanding general obligation bond issues, 2 of which are either callable today or callable in 2015 at par. Based on where current interest rates are, currently the 10-year Treasury rate is at 2.11, which is 220 basis points below its 20-year average, and the tax-exempt municipal market benchmark index, the bond buyer GO 20 bond index, is currently 120 basis points below its 20-year average, and that municipal index has been below its current level only 2% of the time in the last 20 years. So rates are historically low, creates a refunding opportunity to the county to refund its 2009 bonds and its outstanding 2010 bonds. 2009 bonds have a principal amount outstanding of about $6.4 million and an average remaining interest rate of 3.75, and they're currently callable on 30 days notice. The 2010 bonds have an outstanding principal amount of about $8.8 million, an interest rate of 3.3%, remaining average interest rate of 3.3%, and they are callable at par on October 15th of this year. Because because the 2010s were in advance refunding, they cannot be advance refunded again, meaning a refunding of the 2010 bonds could occur no sooner than July 17th of this year. The ordinance in front of you today authorizes the issuance of 2 series of refunding bonds, 2015, Series A of 2015 and Series B of 2015. The A is to refund the 09 bonds and the B is to refund the 2010 bonds. Currently, the savings associated with the refunding of the 2009 bonds would produce approximately $300,000 of net present value savings. As a percentage of the principal amount refunded, it's somewhere between 4.5% and 5%. Well above sort of a threshold level of 3% that we would normally recommend pursuing a refunding. The 2010 refunding cannot be done today. The refunding savings is not quite at a point where we would recommend proceeding, but it has been at that level within the last 6 weeks. Now, of course, you cannot do that refunding until July of this year, so it's something that would be authorized. You would not be required to issue those bonds, but you would be authorized to do so. Just a couple other comments on the proposed refunding bonds. Both the A's and the B's of 2015 would be fixed rate bonds to refund outstanding fixed rate bonds. There would be no variable rate exposure, no remarketing exposure, no swap exposure, obviously. There would be no extension of the debt. The final maturity on both issues of bonds is 2023. The new bonds would not extend beyond that 2023. They'd have the same maturity schedule. Recently, the county's credit rating was upgraded from BBB- to BBB+ by Standard & Poor's, actually BBB+ with a positive outlook. That's only going to lead to it's going to lead to lower issuance costs, lower interest rates, which is obviously going to create greater debt service savings to the county. As far as timing goes, we're in a position, if authorized to move forward, we could be in a position to price the 2015 A bonds to refund the 09s as soon as 3 weeks from today, and close sometime early April on those bonds.
You went so fast and said so many figures. I just need a simple answer. Was it 3.3% as the fixed rate for the financing, or?
No, that's the outstanding rate.
What is the fixed rate?
On the proposed financing?
Yes.
Again, we don't know what that is until we actually price it. But
what is it today? 2.15, did you say?
Yep, somewhere 215 to 225, and again, that's based on current market interest rates. So they could move over the next 3 weeks, but based on roughly that average interest rate.
Gives me a bearing. Thank you. Curious if our solicitor had time to review this proposal.
I've seen the documents come through. I mean, frankly, they're the experts, and this is what they do. I've seen the documents. I've looked at them.
You're comfortable?
But I'm comfortable with everything.
The ordinance that's before the commissioners today will authorize the issuance of both series of bonds to complete the refunding project. It sets forth the parameters, as John described, for the financing, and really authorizes all necessary action for the county to move forward. So by adopting the ordinance today, you'll be giving your blessing to move forward with the financing. Certainly, John's office and Brian's office will be in touch as we get a little closer to the sale date to make sure that the interest rate savings are at the minimum threshold that will generate sufficient amounts for the county to move forward. If interest rates for whatever reason spiked, this would all be put on the shelf. There'd be no cost to the county, and we would wait for another opportunity down the road if interest rates fall.
And that minimum threshold would be a savings of $250,000?
I don't know if we actually set a number. The 3% that John referenced is typically the sort of the target. And I think what you say, we're about 4.5% to 5% now.
Yep, one in 2009.
So the percentage probably would be a good target if you wanted to set forth a minimum.
I just was curious what we were talking
Yeah, I
about.
think
That's fair. The floor, in terms of a dollar figure that you're referring to, the 3% represents about 190,000.
190.
Yeah, that's where that 3% number equates to.
Thank
Currently,
you.
we're at 5, and hopefully when we price it, it'll be 5 or above.
Okay.
So the uptick in our bond rating is a result of our planning to address fiscal issues, and here the rewards are, this is part of the payoff for that.
I'll make a motion to approve. Is this just for the advertising, or is this the actual?
this is the actual ordinance, and it would be number 52.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Excuse me, I do have a question. 52 was designated as the tourism,
That's correct, but this one's being,
so you're going to keep
passed
them in
with-
order?
right,
Okay.
yep. If you go with the other one, it'll be 53.
Okay, thank you.
Right. All those in favor of approval of ordinance number 52, dealing with the refinance of our bonds, indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So ordered.